Welcome back. Please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel.
Welcome to Daily News Bites. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have a very big story about a giant icy island.
That's right, Jamie. President Trump just made a surprising announcement about Greenland. He wants it to become part of the United States.
Wow, really? Greenland is huge. How does he plan to do that?
Well, President Trump appointed Jeff Landry, the governor of Louisiana, as a special envoy.
Wait, let's explain that word for our listeners. An envoy is like a special representative or messenger for the president, right?
Exactly. Governor Landry's mission is to help integrate Greenland into the U.S. President Trump says the island is essential for national security and the stability of the Arctic.
I see. You know, Greenland is famous for having a lot of minerals and a very important location for the military. But doesn't Greenland already belong to another country?
Right again. It is actually part of the Kingdom of Denmark, and the leaders there are not very happy.
Oh, I can imagine. What did they say?
The prime ministers of Denmark and Greenland released a statement. They said very clearly, Greenland is not for sale. They want President Trump to respect their borders and international law.
That sounds like a difficult situation. Denmark is a close ally of the United States, right?
Yes, they are. But President Trump believes this move is necessary for American interests and safety.
And what about Governor Landry? Does he have to leave Louisiana?
No, he said he will do this as a volunteer while staying governor. He says he is honored to help the president.
This is going to be a very interesting story to follow.
It certainly will. Thanks for joining us today to learn about this big move by President Trump.
See you next time.
Welcome to the Daily News Break. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we are talking about some very important news from Colorado.
You know, Colorado has had a really tough time lately. They suffered from terrible wildfires and then big floods right after.
Right. It's been a disaster for the people living there. So Governor Jared Polis asked the federal government for financial help to rebuild.
Exactly. But the big news today is that President Trump denied those requests for disaster aid.
Wow, really? Why would President Trump say no?
Well, that is the big question. Even the emergency agency FEMA looked at the damage and said it was bad enough to qualify for federal money, but the White House blocked it anyway.
That sounds very frustrating for the state. How did the governor react?
Oh, he was very upset. Governor Polis called this political games. He believes the president is punishing Colorado because of political disagreements.
You know, it's sad because the local residents are caught in the middle. They just want to fix their roads and homes.
Exactly. The governor said the need for help is urgent and should be more important than political parties. He plans to appeal the decision directly to President Trump.
So what did the White House say about this?
A spokesperson said that President Trump handles every request with great care. They suggested that states should take more responsibility for their own emergencies instead of relying on federal money.
I see. So they want to save taxpayer dollars.
Right. But it really shows the tension between President Trump and Democratic governors right now.
It sure does. Let's hope the people of Colorado get the help they need soon.
Thanks for joining us today.
See you next time.
Welcome to Daily News Bites. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we are talking about a big change in American energy.
That's right, Jamie. President Trump's administration just stopped 5 major wind energy projects.
Wow, 5 projects? These are the big turbines in the ocean, right?
Exactly. They are located along the U.S. East Coast. But now, all work has officially halted.
That sounds like a big deal. Why did President Trump decide to stop them?
Well, the administration cited serious security concerns. They are worried that the massive turbines could interfere with military radar systems.
Oh, I see. So it is mostly about national defense?
Right. They also think the turbines might affect maritime operations or how ships move in the water.
But wait, Alex, didn't something like this happen before?
You have a very good memory. A few weeks ago, a judge said the president couldn't block these projects because there wasn't enough evidence of a threat.
So what changed?
Well, the Department of Energy and the Department of Defense just released new findings. The White House says this new information provides the proof they need to pause the projects indefinitely.
I bet not everyone is happy about this news.
You're right. Industry leaders are worried. They say this move could cost billions of dollars and slow down the transition to clean energy.
But I assume supporters of President Trump agree with the move.
Exactly. They say protecting our military training grounds is more important than environmental projects. It all fits into the president's America First energy strategy.
It's a tough balance between green energy and national security.
It really is. The administration will now review all other offshore plans to see if they are safe.
Thanks for explaining that, Alex.
Of course. Thanks for joining us today.
See you next time.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have some big news about your iPhone.
Right. Italy's government just gave Apple a huge fine. It's about $115 million.
Wow, that is a lot of money. But why, Alex? What did Apple do wrong?
Well, regulators in Italy say Apple is not being clear with its users. You know, when you use the App Store, Apple collects your data.
Exactly. Most apps do that.
True, but Italy says Apple makes it hard to understand how they use that data for ads. They say the default settings are designed to push people to share information without really knowing it.
Oh, I see. So it's about transparency and fairness.
Exactly. They also think Apple is using these privacy rules to help their own advertising while making it harder for other companies to compete.
That's a serious charge. What does Apple say about this?
They totally disagree. Apple says they protect our privacy better than anyone else. They plan to appeal the fine, which means they want a judge to change the decision.
You know, this is happening while big tech faces a lot of pressure. Even here in the U.S., President Trump is watching these companies very closely.
That's right. President Trump often talks about how these giant tech companies work. Now, Europe is really turning up the heat too.
It sounds like a long legal battle is coming for Apple.
Definitely. It's important for us to know where our data goes, right?
Absolutely. Well, that's all for today's news.
Thanks for listening to our podcast.
See you next time.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Daily Tech Chat. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we have a very exciting story about the future of AI.
That's right. We are talking about SoftBank and OpenAI. They are rushing to finish a massive deal before the year ends.
Exactly, Alex. SoftBank, the huge Japanese company, wants to invest billions of dollars into OpenAI right now.
Wow, billions? That is a lot of money. Why does OpenAI need so much cash?
Well, building AI is very expensive. They need to build infrastructure. That basically means giant rooms full of the world's most powerful computers.
Right. They want to create the next generation of AI models. It is a very high-stakes game.
It really is. And you know, this is happening at a busy time in the U.S. President Trump is currently focused on keeping America as the world leader in technology.
Exactly. Under President Trump, the economy is moving fast, and these big tech investments are a huge part of that story.
For SoftBank, this deal is a big risk, but also a big chance. Their leader, Masayoshi Son, wants to show the world that SoftBank is still a top player in the market.
Right, because they had some struggles in the past. If they finish this deal by December 31st, it will be a huge win for them.
But there are still some hurdles. They are still negotiating the price and the rules of the deal.
It sounds like a race against the clock.
It is. If they succeed, OpenAI can stay ahead of other big companies like Google and Meta.
It's going to be a very interesting week. Thanks for joining us to learn about this big AI news.
See you next time.
Welcome to the Daily Buzz. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have some huge news from the world of finance.
That's right, Jamie. Shriram Finance in India just hit a record high. Their stock price jumped over 5% in just one day.
Wow, that's a big jump. What happened?
Well, a giant bank from Japan called MUFT is investing $4.4 billion into the company.
$4.4 billion? That is a lot of money. Why are they doing it?
Exactly. They are buying 20% of Shriram Finance. This is one of the biggest foreign investments in India's history.
Interesting. You know, with President Trump leading the U.S. right now, everyone is looking at how global markets are moving.
Right. President Trump always keeps an eye on big trade deals. This deal shows that international investors are very confident in the Indian economy. Experts call it a vote of confidence.
Vote of confidence. That's a great phrase. It means they really trust the company, right?
Exactly. Shriram Finance will use this money to help small businesses and people in rural areas buy vehicles. It's going to help a lot of people grow their businesses.
That's amazing. But why is a Japanese bank investing so far away?
Good question. The market in Japan is very full, so they are looking for growth in India. By working together, they combine global skills with the local knowledge.
It sounds like a win-win situation for everyone.
It really is. Experts are very excited, and they think Shriram Finance has a very bright future now.
Well, that is all for our big story today. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today we have some huge news from Australia.
That's right. Australia just became the first country to officially ban social media for anyone under the age of 16.
Wow, under 16? That's a big deal. So no TikTok or Instagram for young teens at all?
Exactly. And the rules are very strict. If social media companies don't stop kids from joining, they have to pay massive fines, up to $50 million.
$50 million? That is a lot of money. But Alex, why is the government doing this now?
Well, they want to protect children from things like cyberbullying and mental health problems. They believe social media can be harmful to young developing minds.
I see. But can parents just give permission? You know, like a note from home to let them stay online?
No, that's the interesting part. There is no workaround. Even with a parent's permission, it is still illegal for kids under 16 to have these accounts.
That is very strict. I wonder if other countries will follow this idea.
Actually, many people are watching this closely. Here in the U.S., President Trump is focusing on child safety online, and states like Florida have already started similar rules.
Right. And I heard South Korea just banned phones in classrooms, too. It seems everyone is trying to help students focus more on school.
Exactly. Now, some people say tech-savvy kids will find a way around the ban using tools like VPNs.
True. But the Australian government says the responsibility belongs to the big tech companies. They must prioritize safety over making money.
It's a major shift in how we live online. It really makes you think.
It really does. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Welcome to the Daily Tech Drive. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we have a crazy story from San Francisco.
Imagine you are on your way to work and suddenly dozens of cars around you just stop. No drivers, just empty cars sitting in the middle of the road.
Wow, that sounds like a movie, but it really happened this week. A major power outage caused Waymo robotaxis to brick or stop working right in the busy streets.
Exactly. These self-driving cars rely on the internet and GPS to move. When the power failed, they lost their connection to the cloud.
So instead of pulling over to the side, they just stayed in the middle of the intersections?
Right. They are programmed to enter a safe stop mode if they lose a signal. It prevents crashes, but it also blocks all the traffic for hours.
That is a huge problem. You know, even ambulances and fire trucks couldn't get through the streets. That's a real safety hazard.
It certainly is. This is a big topic right now. In fact, President Trump has been talking a lot about the importance of American infrastructure. This event shows that our power grid needs to be much stronger to support new technology.
I agree. Even the mayor of San Francisco said we need more resilient infrastructure. That means systems that can handle unexpected problems without causing a crisis.
Waymo apologized and said they are investigating why their backup systems failed. It's a big setback for them as they try to move into more cities.
It's a good lesson for all of us. AI is amazing, but it's not perfect yet.
Very true, Jamie. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our show. Today, we have some shocking news from the world of TV.
That's right, Alex. It involves a very famous show called 60 Minutes and President Trump.
So here's the story. CBS News was going to air a big report about President Trump's deportation policy.
Deportation. That is a big word for our listeners. It means when the government sends people back to their home countries, right?
Exactly. President Trump has said this policy is a main goal for his current term. He says it is important for national safety.
But suddenly, CBS pulled the story. They decided not to show it. Wow, why did that happen?
Well, the boss at CBS News stopped it. She was worried about bias.
Oh, I know that word. Bias is when a story is not fair or only shows one side.
Right. Some editors felt the interviews were not checked carefully enough. But you know, many veteran journalists at CBS are very angry now.
I bet. They worked hard on that report. They believe the public needs to know the details of President Trump's agenda.
Exactly.
Some people are even asking if the news station is afraid of a fight with the White House.
Wow. But the White House said they did not ask CBS to stop the show, right?
Correct. But this has started a huge debate about media independence.
That means the news should be free to report the truth, even if it is a difficult topic.
Precisely. It is a very big move for a news station to pull a story like this.
It sure is. Well, that is all for today's report.
Thanks for listening and learning with us.
See you next time.
Hello, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Today, we are talking about a big mystery in Washington, D.C., involving the Jeffrey Epstein files.
Right. You might have heard that name in the news. Now, Senator Chuck Schumer is demanding that the government show us all the secret documents about him.
Exactly, Alex. You see, the government recently released some files, but they were redacted. For our listeners, redacted means the important parts were covered with black ink, so no one can read them.
Wow, that sounds like a movie. Schumer says the American people deserve the full truth. He is worried there was a cover-up to protect powerful people.
You know, the Department of Justice is currently under President Trump's administration. They say they have to hide some names to protect innocent people and current investigations.
That makes sense, but it is still very controversial. An official from President Trump's administration said they are trying to be fair and transparent.
But get this, 16 files actually disappeared from a government website. Then they came back later. Schumer is now calling for a full audit of the records.
Right. He wants to take legal action to force them to show everything to a special committee behind closed doors.
So what does President Trump say about this legal battle?
Well, President Trump has not commented on the legal threats directly. However, he has said before that his administration is committed to cleaning up corruption in Washington. He is letting the Justice Department handle the specifics of the file release.
It is a real battle for transparency. That is a great word for being honest and open.
Exactly. We will definitely keep an eye on this story. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.